In 1992, Cameron Todd Willingham was convicted of arson murder in Texas. He was believed to have intentionally set his house on fire with his 3 children inside. In 2004, he was put to death. Unfortunately, the Texas Forensic Science Center later found that evidence was misinterpreted and concluded that the evidence used against Willingham was invalid. As it turns out, the fire was unintentional. The new evidence emerged and found that a key prosecution witness, in return for a shorter sentence, had told a lie. This story, like many others, happens way too often in our criminal justice system. Unfortunately, a lot of people that were wrongly convicted are not able to be freed before they are proven innocent. I have taken the time to research the death penalty using scholarly resources, books, and government documents to see both sides of the stance. I am here with you today to argue why our Congress needs to abolish the death penalty due to the complications that it offers. I will discuss 3 reasons why the death penalty should be abolished in the United States of America. The death penalty puts innocent lives at risk, is racially biased, and does not deter crime. The death penalty is a systematic problem in our nation. The death penalty imposes irrevocable sentence because once an inmate is executed, nothing can be done to make amends on a mistake that might have occurred. Since 1973, at least 121 people have been released from death row after evidence has emerged of their innocence. During the same time period, over 982 people have been executed. Thus, for every 8 people executed, we have found 1 person on death row who should have never been convicted. A recent study by Columbia University Law School found that 2/3 of all capital trials contain serious errors. When the trial was retried, over 80% of the defendants were not sentenced to death, and 7% of the defendants were completely acquitted. Now, let's discuss the racial injustice that occurs in our capital punishment system. According to the NAACP, over 40% of the death penalty inmates are black. This is a huge number that is scary because the United States of America only has about a 10% population of blacks. Black defendants facing trial in Houston are more than 3 times more likely to get the death sentence than whites, a new study conducted by criminologists at the University of Maryland finds. There is no way that we can say that we live in a country that offers equal justice to all Americans when racial disparities plague the system by which our society imposes the ultimate punishment, as stated by Senator Russ Feingold of Civil Rights. Finally, let's talk about how the death penalty does not discourage crime. Dr. Jonathan Groner, an associate professor at Ohio State University, College of Medicine and Public Health, who researches the deterrent effects of the death penalty, suggests that the psychological mindset of the criminal is such that they are not able to consider the consequences at the time of the crime. He goes on to say, people who commit these crimes are not in a normal state of mind. They do not consider the consequences in a logical way. In a study conducted, 2/3 of police state that they do not believe that the death penalty deters crime. Police Chief James Abbott of New Jersey states, I know that in practice the death penalty does more harm than good. So while I hang on to my theoretical views, well, I'm sure some of you will, I stand before you to say that the society is better off without capital punishment. Life in prison without parole and a maximum security facility is a much better alternative. He also suggests that longer prison sentences, as well as decrease of prevalent drug use and more officers on the streets, would deter the death penalty. The problem with the death penalty are significant and numerous. However, the solution is simple. We need to abolish the death penalty. This can be done by urging our United States Congress to get rid of the capital punishment system. Many individuals will argue that the death penalty should stay because it is an equal punishment for the crimes that are committed, such as an eye for an eye. However, we need to remember the idea of wrongful convictions and the harm that they cause families. They happen from wrong eyewitness accounts, not enough evidence, and lack of testimonies. We as a nation take many risks in which lives are lost. This includes building bridges, knowing that statistically some workers will die from construction accidents. We take great precautions to reduce the number of fatalities. But wrongful convictions are preventable. As Justice William Brennan stated in 1994, perhaps the bleakest fact of all is that the death penalty is imposed not only in a freakish and discriminatory manner, but also some cases upon defendants who are innocently convicted.